It started with the hum, the one that annoying whine of a leaf blower at 7:01 in the morning echoing around a cul-de-sac where everyone pretends they're still asleep, hoping maybe, just maybe, today will be the day. Karen, queen of the HOA and self-declared guardian of all things orderly, gives it a rest. But nah, not my luck. She was out there patrolling lawns like it was basic training at Fort Suburbia, armed with her clipboard. And that look, the one that says, "I know you left your trash can out 13 minutes too long, don't test me." Honestly, if your garden gnome so much as winked in the wrong direction, she'd have it sighted and gone by lunchtime. But here's the thing. For all her bluster, nothing prepared me for the morning. I found her in my yard dragging this tangled neon orange extension cord across my grass. I watched her half convinced she was chasing a squirrel, or maybe trying to catch the mailman breaking the speed limit or something equally ridiculous. But nope. This woman marched right up to the side of my garage, knelt down with all the self-importance of royalty at a coronation, and plugged that cord into my outdoor outlet. Didn't even glance my way. Didn't knock, not a sticky note in sight, just plugged in like it was her God-given right, then strutted back across the property line to her own driveway like nothing weird had happened. I just stood there, coffee in hand, and wondered if I was being punked. Was it worse that she was straight up stealing my power? Or that she wasn't even subtle about it? I'll be real, I tried to brush it off at first. Maybe her power was out. Maybe it was a neighborly emergency, one of those moments where you do the right thing, because that's what communities are for. But turns out Karen's idea of emergency meant powering up her endless parade of outdoor gadgets. Weed whacker one day, pressure washer the next. And get this, at one point she even set up this fancy gurgling fountain in her yard, hooked up with my electricity, and acted like it had always been there. Like, oh, didn't you know? That's just part of my landscape vision. Right. So I figured, all right, time for a conversation. I walked over, keeping it polite, you have to with people like her, and said, "Hey, Karen, noticed you've been using my outlet a lot lately. Mind not doing that?" She gave me that little smile, lips pursed like she'd bitten into a lemon, and just goes, "It's only a little electricity. HOA guidelines say we're supposed to support neighborhood beautification." You are a part of this community, aren't you? You ever get that feeling when someone's words are like sugar, but, it's just covering vinegar? Yeah, that happened. I could have just unplugged the outlet, could have put a lock on it, or set up a camera, but I had something better. See that specific outlet. It wasn't just for holiday lights or, God forbid, rogue fountains. It was wired to the backup pump for my septic tank. The previous owner had installed it years ago, thinking ahead. Most of the time it didn't matter, but if the tank ever got close to overflowing, that pump was all that stood between me and disaster. Lose power at the wrong moment, and well, let's just say it's not the kind of problem you want on a Saturday morning. I let her keep plugging in. Didn't say another word. Watched the orange cord snake across the grass every morning, waited. Because sometimes life just hands you the setup and all you have to do is let things play out. And then came the rain 2 weeks straight, heavy and relentless, the kind of weather that makes you rethink your choices about living on a low-lying lot. My septic tank started to fill, then overfill, and when that pump needed to kick in, it tried, except you guessed it, the breaker had tripped from all that unauthorized borrowing. What happened next, I'll never forget. Early Saturday, I heard shouting from Karen's backyard. Walked out to see a crowd of neighbors, phones up, gathering around her pristine flower bed, which now looked more like a crime scene from a low-budget horror movie. The smell hit first sulfur, and something worse rolling in like a fog. And then I saw it, this gurgling, sludgy eruption right by her beloved fountain, bubbling up from underground, oozing across her pavers and around the base of her little cherub statue. If you've never seen a ceramic angel look traumatized, let me tell you, it's a sight. Karen was losing it, screaming, trying to scrape sludge off her shoes, blaming the universe, but mostly blaming me. She marched over, still dripping, and I mean that literally. There were actual bits of septic sludge trailing in her wake, and started yelling about my faulty system and how it ruined her landscaping. I just pointed at the tripped breaker. "Oh, you mean this outlet, the one you've been using every day without asking?" I said, keeping my voice steady, maybe a little too calm for her liking. "Yeah, that's hooked to my septic tank's backup." Probably should have asked. And for once she was silent. Not a word, not even a glare. Just that stunned look people get when they finally realize they're not as untouchable as they thought. And the best part? The HOA fined her. $600 for unsanitary landscape violations. Their words, not mine. There's something downright poetic about watching the rulemaker get flattened by her own playbook, you know what I mean? These days, Karen gives my yard a wide berth. Her orange cords nowhere to be seen in the fountain well. Let's just say the cherub never quite recovered. Sits there, still cockeyed and half-buried, like a warning to anyone who thinks HOA royalty is above the rules. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. But let me tell you, sometimes it's served up steaming, right out of a broken septic tank and onto your enemy's begonias. I didn't plan it this way, but I'm not going to pretend I didn't enjoy the spectacle. If you've ever dealt with a neighbor like Karen, someone who thinks the rules are for everyone but them, maybe you know how sweet that moment feels. But here's the real kicker: word got around fast. Now there's a new buzz at every HOA meeting, folks arguing about outlets and boundaries, debating if community beautification is just a nice way to say, "I take what I want." Some neighbors still think I set her up on purpose. Others say Karen got what she deserved, that maybe the rest of us should push back a little more when the president comes knocking with her citations and measuring tape. So let me throw it out to you. What would you have done? Is it justice or just pettiness in a prettier package in neighborhoods like ours? Maybe the real story isn't about grass height or trash cans. Maybe it's about knowing when to stand your ground and when to let karma do the heavy lifting. Drop your thoughts below as I write to let her learn the hard way. Or does this make me the villain in my own story? You tell me.